Hello, it's my final instalment of all UK Eurovision entries ranked, and it's places 3 to 1. Welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. Please do click on the subscribe button or the notification bell. Please do like, share and comment below. It's been a long journey to reach the very top of my rankings for all UK Eurovision entries. And if you've been watching the series, you probably know who these top 3 are, but obviously you don't know necessarily in which order they are. All of them bands, all of them winners. We start in bronze medal position, number 3. It's 1981, Bucks Fizz, Making Your Mind Up. So Bucks Fizz were a relatively newly formed band, formed for Eurovision, but did contain a veteran of Eurovision. Cheryl Baker had been at Eurovision just 3 years previously. But Making Your Mind Up was a big poppy, catchy song and a huge commercial success. It brought Bucks Fizz a number 1 in the UK. It brought them number 1 and success across Europe and beyond. And in fact was one of the best-selling. It was really one of the best-selling songs that year, and indeed was one of the best-selling songs of the entire 80s. I think it was in the top 50 of all songs in the UK in the 1980s. So tremendous sort of commercial success, and was also the start of kind of a lot of success for Bucks Fizz. Following on from Eurovision, they went on to score several more top 10 hits, including 2 more number 1s in the UK. Famously, the performance had that moment, which was the skirt rip costume change reveal. And that's obviously other Eurovision acts have followed that, notably Latvia in 2002. But it's been a kind of a big feature of Eurovision ever since that, the costume change moment. And so while it might seem fairly mild and not that dramatic, looking at more recent times, at the time it was something that really stood out, and I think probably helped push them to victory. I'd like to say kind of Bucks Fizz have stayed together all happily in the years that have passed, but that has not been true. The band have gone through a number of changes, with people leaving and other people joining, and effectively you are left with kind of two different versions of them. That we have Bobby G on one hand, who still has the original name, but the kind of the core group, which is Cheryl Baker, Mike Nolan and Jay Aston, they perform as the Fizz and actually continue to perform kind of in many different venues and release new music as well. So while we don't have the original Bucks Fizz, but they are still very present with us. My silver medal position, my number 2, it's 1976, Brotherhood of Man, Save Your Kisses for Me.
Save your kisses for me, save all your kisses for me. Bye bye, baby, bye bye. Don't cry, honey.
So, like Bucks Fizz, Brotherhood of Man hadn't had a great deal of success, or hadn't been around much beforehand, but this was absolutely a great big hit. Lovely song, lovely little dance that they do, and that twist at the end, which obviously when it's someone singing to their child as opposed to their partner, which is obviously this was a massive commercial success. Probably it's been the biggest selling UK song, or certainly the biggest Eurovision song ever in the UK. Worldwide, it sold some sort of 6 million. So it was #1 across Europe and wider, even entered the US charts as well. And I think overall it was the biggest selling song in the UK of 1976. So all in all, massive success. And indeed, even in the scoring, it's one of the biggest ever winners, because if you do calculations, some people have, of kind of what the average number of points that someone got from a jury, Brotherhood of Man is, I think, right up there with, I think, something like 9.6 points per jury, or something. And so it's one of the very highest, the first or the second highest. So huge amount of success. And Brotherhood of Man have a slightly less, shall we say, complicated history post the contest than Bucks Fizz, and no dabbling in any kind of politics either. And they've stayed together, although they've had times when they've stopped recording or stopped performing, but then they've got back on the road again. They perform a lot of kind of nostalgia tours on a lot of gay venues as well, and they've been involved in Eurovision events, notably the 60th anniversary that took place a few years ago in Hammersmith, and I was lucky enough to see them there. And they're still, and whilst they were all obviously late 60s by that point, still a great fun to watch, and and it's still such a lovely song. And in fact, two of the members, Martin Lee and Sandra Stevens, they got together whilst they're in the band, and a few years after Eurovision, they actually got married and are still married to this day. So that's quite a nice story as well. Finally, I'm sure you've probably worked out who this is, but in the gold medal position, my #1 of all UK Eurovision entries, 1997, Katrina and the Waves, Love Shine a Light. So unlike the other two other bands in this group, Katrina and the Waves were actually already a kind of known band. They had a huge worldwide hit, Walking on Sunshine, back in the 80s. And this song, Love Shine Light, was written by a member of the band who also wrote Walking on Sunshine. So alongside that, this was their most sort of successful song. Not quite as successful in the charts as some of the other UK winners, but it's still, for me, it's like, let's go for my #1. It's such an iconic anthemic song. It just sums up Eurovision, and I think it almost feels like it was almost going to be the winner. It was a runaway, a landslide winner. It scored, it did also very well in terms of the average sort of points per jury or points per country that it got. It was high up there, but also it's been very high up in the numbers of, or the percentage of countries that gave it maximum points as well. Again, right at that. So overall, incredibly successful kind of in terms of that scoring side of things. And sort of Katrina herself, at times, has perhaps been a little bit negative about Eurovision in one interview, but you never know whether that was just twisted around. But other than that, she's been very positive. She comes to a lot of the different events. I've been lucky to see her on more than one occasion. I've seen her at Western Eurovision, I saw her at the Vauxhall Tavern, and she's obviously appeared on various shows, so various Eurovision-related shows as well. She is no longer Katrina and the Waves. She's Katrina of the Waves. The band split up a couple of years after Eurovision, although I think the view is that they probably were nearing the end of their time anyway. But I think this is as I say, it sums up what are Eurovision winners, and I think it stretches beyond kind of the UK, because of course in 2020, with the cancellation of Eurovision due to COVID, when the broadcaster still put on that show, it was called Europe Shine a Light, and of course all of the 2020 artists, almost all, got together to sing Love Shine Light at the end of the show, and of course the last bit of that performance was delivered by Katrina herself, which I think really sums up kind of the place that this song has in Eurovision history. And that concludes my UK rankings. I hope you've enjoyed watching them. Do let me know what your kind of favourites are, and we'll see you again soon with more videos.